On July 14th, we have the new moon in the sign of Cancer at 21 degrees. It's also conjunct Mercury. And Mercury is the dispositor of this Mars-Uranus conjunction as well. And also of this Venus conjunct the South Node. The Venus is separating from the South Node here. Venus and Chiron are the only ones in the Earth signs. And Venus is in her fall in the sign of Virgo. She's separating from that conjunction with the South Node. So we were just previously releasing something of Venus, the planet of harmony. It makes me think too of this Mars-Uranus conjunction in the sign of Gemini, and these inventors, these explorers. You know, you're accessing hidden knowledge. You know, it's bringing a change to the structure, breaking free from it. And it's not always accepted, right? It does definitely, it's not harmonizing with what we have. It's breaking free from it. So there's something about the act of harmonizing that we have to release in order to break free and individuate. So that can come up there just symbolically. It's also the planet of weddings and furniture, artwork, art in general, costumes, clothing, you know, artistic style changes. Perhaps we're finding ourselves, we're asking ourselves, you know, who are we when we are in relationships? And can we find a way to access independence while we're in a union? That union deserves respect and compromise. But somehow, this act of harmonizing can drain our energy. Also at 5 degrees of Gemini, there's the trans-Neptunian object Admetos, representing limitations and delays. You know, it sounds a bit like Saturn. But Mars, Uranus are bold enough, courageous enough to break free of any constraints. Mercury's retrograde too, so it's like the filters are now removed. Speaking from the heart. It's the moon is sitting with Castor as well, between Castor and Pollux. Castor would speak through creating, through writing, through speaking, through artwork. And Castor is the human side of the twins. Pollux is the divine, the immortal. But Castor is the human, that human creativity. Think of the many ways that we can speak through our body language, through food, through our clothing, speaking through images, through symbolism. Uranus is higher thoughts, higher dimensional thoughts. Perhaps we're creating a new way to communicate that is maybe dissolving the boundaries of culture. Could be a documentary here about Cancer themes like food, home, the past, our traditions. Could be about privacy as well. Maybe making an emotional, urgent plea to change, to reevaluate a certain path. Maybe those meta glasses, for example, and risks to privacy. Jupiter also opposes Pluto, and this will be exact on the 20th of July. Survival strategies. It could bring up even the cost of children with Jupiter in Leo. Hygeia is also close to Jupiter, so it makes me feel like healing philosophies that are shared amongst our social groups, Pluto and Aquarius, that involve creativity, moving through the pain with passion, through discovering our passion, to play, to romance. Perhaps philosophies on love, on relationships, new ideas, how to find how to find a partner in 30 days kind of thing. To entertain, perhaps more comedians moving forward to help the collective kind of work through this pain. Maybe we can find some relief from this chaos of society and the outside world through the places that we go to feel pleasure, where we go to laugh, the places where we feel artistic. And perhaps we're escaping from the stress that social media can cause. Also, could be the dreams, the aspirations, the visions that we had for the future. They're changing. Maybe we didn't consider the necessity of our own happiness. Maybe a need for passion in our lives. Maybe we didn't leave enough room for play and romance. And maybe we're ready for risk-taking, gambling with Jupiter and Leo. That's something that could take place, losing money through gambling. So watch out for that. But also could just taking a risk on a love, on a romance. Pluto's also conjunct Juno. So looking for partnerships that can maybe help maybe open our eyes to new opportunities. Perhaps to feel alive again, to feel that fire, to feel like a kid again. To feel alive. Could be a business creation as well. Gathering the resources. Maybe making sure the business stays alive and the survival instincts are kicking in. Mars is conjunct Aldebaran as well. So this is the Mars and Venus nature. It's a fighter. And it represents the bull's left eye. But with all of these royal stars, it brings a lot of material success, but it calls into question integrity. And then we have to ask ourselves, what is integrity? Is it more like Nietzsche, who described something more strict, that we express everything that we feel within? It has to match 100%. Or is it more like Goethe, where we're having clear convictions and the courage to act on them, even when it's hard? Perhaps integrity requires more patience. With all of this Cancer energy, the moon moves so quickly. It's makes us realize how quickly our feelings can change about something. Taking the time. Maybe integrity requires more patience. Examining the feelings, allowing time to release the intensity of those emotions. Once the intensity is gone, we're left with the core feelings. What's the truth? What still bothers me about this situation, that needs to be addressed. So maybe identifying, figuring out what integrity means to you. How do we move with integrity? How do we speak with integrity? It's also interesting when we look at the cycles of the moon. This is the new moon phase, where we're planting our seeds. These are our ideas for the future, our hopes, our wishes for the future. We're planting them now here. And this lunation will tie to the partial lunar eclipse on January 11th of 2028. Depending on where you are, it will be on January 12th. But January 11th, January 12th of 2028, we have this partial lunar eclipse at 21 degrees of Cancer, same as this lunation. This will be the full moon version of this cycle. So this will be the manifestation of what we've planted here. We may start seeing our fruits harvest. Some clarity about the future, so that's exciting, that the actions that we take here will boomerang back around. It's important to move forward knowing that. And in this lunar eclipse chart, we'll have Uranus trining Pluto at 6 degrees, which is a Virgo degree. Jupiter also less than 5 hours away from going retrograde. It's stationed in the sign of Virgo at 27 degrees. Also ruled by Mercury, right? Reevaluating our beliefs, our philosophy around work, health, relationships, how much we serve and give to others, our self-improvement philosophy, charity, giving to others, routines, our own diets, our skill sets. We're slowing the progress in this area to make sure it's grounded, accurate, balanced, patient. Maybe educating ourselves about our health, better health practices. It's interesting because the moon this time on July 14th is conjunct asteroid Ahrenza. And this asteroid is representing a benefactor, someone who provides support, financial support, but being in the sign of Cancer could just be emotional support. It could be someone from your past with Cancer. It could be maybe a family member. Providing emotional support, an emotional benefactor. Maybe someone that you've moved emotionally through this creation of yours, through your Castor creation. Perhaps it moves someone, it connects, it resonates with someone. Enough to be a supporter of yours. It's interesting because Arenza is conjunct the Sun during this eclipse, January 11th of 2028. So it's like that benefactor coming back. We're planting a seed for a benefactor, and it's coming back around, conjunct our Sun, January of 2028. So it's our Sun, our career, our identity, our purpose. You know, this person could be invested in our future, in how we radiate, you know. And I'm thinking too, because Jupiter went retrograde in the sign of Cancer, November of 2025 to March of 2026, kind of unlocking the truth about how we feel in this area, in this Cancer area, and unlocking true emotions, being able to express them in more creative, productive ways, channeling them in productive ways. Mercury's now retrograde there, you know, being more detailed, more practical. Can we really do this? It's like, and you think about a benefactor too. What would move a benefactor is passion. They need to see you passionate. You need to be able to move them, make them inspired to support you. So I'm thinking all of this uprooting in the house of Cancer here could be to find genuine emotion. It's interesting because with all of the introduction of AI, we think about what skills will be profitable in the future. And something that the AI can never have, no matter how much you try, is human connection. To be able to connect on a human-to-human level. That resonance. There's something dead in the eyes, or dead in the words, dead in the expression, robotic. You know, it can be seen. So this human connection, to be able to connect to people emotionally. You know, it seems too that addiction to technology can stunt you in this way. But perhaps all of this uprooting in this sign is helping us to better access that human connection factor. because here we're planting our seeds for that benefactor, and somehow we inspire them in 2028. So what else do they need? They need to see dedication, right? So because the sun, this full moon here in 2028 will be in a T-square to Saturn. So they need to see your dedication, determination, consistency. They need to see maturity as well, mature emotional expression. And it is mature to be able to channel heavy, heavy emotions into art. This is composure. And the sun, although it's in a superior aspect to Saturn, they have a mutual reception. It's like long-term exposure. There's also going to be a stellium in Aquarius happening in that 2028 chart, in that eclipse chart. Mercury, Mars, Pluto, and the North Node will be conjunct in Aquarius. And Mars and Pluto will both be at 6 degrees. It's interesting because currently Mars is conjunct Uranus at one end of that mini grand trine. And in 2028, it will be at the end, the other end, conjunct Pluto. But at 6 degrees, the Virgo degree, right? Ruled by Mercury as well. Mars is again wrapped into this mini grand trine, but from the other end of it. It's like we're discovering new patterns of thoughts currently, being more open and to trying new things, moving towards ideas that maybe we might never have considered before. And in 2028, more of a rebirth of these dreams, these visions for the future, a death of the old. And all of this is spilling into Mercury realms as well. Jupiter will retrograde in a sign ruled by Mercury. Mercury is in the stellium here. How do we do business? Mercury changes also according to circumstance, so who it's conjunct to, it will blend to it. And then it's with two fighter planets, this Mars and Pluto. Could be reworking our skill set as well, learning new skills with the future in mind. The developing strong survival instincts, doing everything we can to fight for our dreams. It's a very ambitious energy, and maybe that benefactor sees that ambitious energy. Aquarius is about connections and networking. It could be that we are planting the seeds for someone. Someone maybe who can see your efforts, and maybe a more powerful person as well, who has different connections. So good luck. And thanks for listening. Don't forget to like the video. Bye.